Hey guys, welcome back to a very special episode of BW2, where today, after about 3 or 4 years or whatever, we are finally upgrading cameras. So yeah, you guys know it's always a big deal when we upgrade cameras here on the channel. But the last time we did, again, was like 3 or 4 years ago, which of course started out the channel with the little black camera. I can't remember what the name of it was, but it was like the black Samsung one. But then and we didn't even know how to set the setting to 16:9, so that's why we're always filming in like the, it wasn't like square, but it wasn't 16:9, but you would have saw it in super low quality. Yeah, we didn't figure that out until that Christmas when I ended up getting my next camera, which was the little white Samsung WB35F12X, which I still have, my point and shoot camera. But yeah, that is right here, of course, just in this little Case Logic case right here, with the little zipper with its cord in there, and little S-beaner or whatever. It just kind of like cut out audio and stuff. Like when you're zooming, it kind of makes the audio out, and for some reason, whenever it focuses the video, it kind of dampens the audio. So I'll kind of like go like in and out whenever it does that. I don't know why it does that, but yeah. And then eventually, before I had a job, I just did work and whatnot, and earned like money and whatnot to buy myself, or kind of pay my parents and whatnot to get myself the camera I'm currently filming on right now, my Canon Powershot, what is the name? Canon Powershot SX530HS, which isn't really a filming camera, it's more of a photography camera, but as you can tell, it's done pretty darn well here on the channel for the past 3 or 4 years, but I figured it was time for an upgrade, because the video quality is good, the audio is pretty darn good, but it is still slightly grainy, and the audio is good. It's just it could be slightly better. Yeah. But of course you can't. It's not a DSLR camera. There's a point and shoot. This one's a bridge camera, so it's not a DSLR. It's not a point and shoot. It's kind of in between, which means that it doesn't have a cold shoe on the top or anything. So you can't connect any external things. There's no way to connect any external mics or anything. So it's pretty much everything is on board with that camera, and it still doesn't have the flip out screens. I've always wanted a flip out screen and everything, and just now trying to center this and whatnot, I was like doing some weird maneuver trying to look back, because of course you guys know there's a dresser right behind there and whatnot, so it's kind of hard getting there with this big old chair. But now we have finally upgraded. You would have saw in the beginning, from all the way back from my video where I announced we hit 1,000 subscribers, I did that little montage where I went through all of the cameras, and you'll notice the black camera, whenever Brayton or whoever else uses that. We did set it to 16:9, it is higher quality, but for that video clip I did actually turn it back to the quality that we used to film on to keep it true to the history of the channel, because the whole time we used that camera here on the channel, we used that setting for whatever reason. We just were not the brightest back then. But yeah, that was of course a little montage back from then, which I did end up reusing in this video to add on to it, to add the next camera, which you would have seen in the intro, which is the Canon EOS Rebel T7i. So yeah, so finally a DSLR camera. Yeah, that means it's got removable lenses, or a removable lens that you can put whatever else lenses you want on it, and it's got a viewfinder and everything, and a flip out screen. And also the one on this one, if you want to pop up the flash, you just gotta go like, I don't know if you can hear this, but I just flipped up the flash with my fingers. You just pull it up and pop it back down. But this one actually has a button, so everything's more manual on that one. This one, at least you got the assisted flash. Yeah, definitely a lot more complicated, but it is very good. And it's kind of weird because this is my actually first camera I've ever used on the channel that doesn't have just the digital zoom. You guys might know what I'm talking about. On all the other cameras I've used, when I want to zoom in, there's this little tab on the shutter button where you go like that to zoom in and like that to zoom out. This camera, how you zoom in is you literally just like go like that with the lens, and it goes in and out. So yeah, so you guys know from previous footage, which you'll also see in this video, and pictures, this camera, it's the Canon Powershot, so that thing can zoom. It has 50 times zoom, If you've been around on Brennan, or if you've been around here on the channel for a long time, you guys have seen some stuff with this. I've like taken pictures across Seattle and stuff, but yeah, that thing's practically a telescope. But yeah, I'll probably mention it multiple times throughout this video, but if you haven't, make sure to check out all the links in the description, especially for this video. I'd recommend, of course, my photography page, because there will be a lot more content coming to that with the new camera. And yeah, you can see what else I'm talking about if you haven't yet with the insane zoom on this one. So this camera, now, after I officially switch off to this new camera, this camera is pretty much just going to be my zoom camera, because everything else about this camera can do better. So the only thing that one has better on it now is the zoom. Because this one has okay zoom, but it's pretty much just about as good as the white one. It doesn't zoom too far, but the thing is of course you can put any lens you want on here, so you can put a zoom that can zoom further than that. But yeah, I'm not planning to get any more lenses right now, just because I think I'm pretty much good for right now. I have a zoom camera in this camera. But yeah, so anyway, on to the camera. So upgrading quality, again, the first one was like 12 megapixel or something, I can't really remember. Again, one of the other links in the description is my website, which I just updated a couple days ago with all my new stuff, which lists all my equipment I use for all my online business work or whatever. But yeah, and all the specs of everything, so you can see that. But then this camera I'm filming on right now has 16 megapixel, and this one has 24.4, I believe. So yeah, so just more and more upgrade as it goes. But here it is in all of its beauty. You might be wondering, it looks weird if you've never seen a DSLR before, but that's because it doesn't actually have a lens on right now. It just has like a lens cap. But yeah, you can see there's no ridges on the flash right there, so you can't just pull it up or anything. That's actually the flash button right there. And again, this doesn't have a flip out screen, so I'm going to get up to make sure I'm getting everything on shot here. But yeah, you can see right here it has a pretty darn cool little SD card. Of course, you need an SD card to use a camera. So yeah, it's pretty nice. You just slide it like that and then flip it open like so, and then you can see my SD card, which I bought another one, but this time I got 128 gigabytes, which for me is pretty overkill for a camera. I don't usually store that much on a camera at one time. I don't think I've even went above like 10 gigabytes at a time. But yeah, and then the batteries, currently only have one battery for this one. I actually have two batteries for this one. I would say 4, but I'm probably just gonna throw away these two that I've had for a while. I've had them for like multiple years, but I haven't used them in like 2 years, and they're just complete trash, these two. Usually I'm a big fan of Vivitar. They're a good cheap brand for decent quality. But their batteries are absolute trash. Like, they take like 2.5 hours to charge, and they literally have trouble making it through a whole video. Like, they last 20 minutes or so. So yeah, but my other two batteries for the camera I'm filming on right now, the one I'm using right now is actually a Duracell battery, so of course a trusted battery brand, but the other one is the Canon battery right there. But only one battery for this, because I cannot find any other batteries that aren't Canon brand, and I don't want to get any knockoff brands, because batteries are just not something I really like to mess around with, and I like to get name brand stuff. But the other thing is, I've heard that the Canon batteries are 60 bucks, which at the same time, not sure if I want to spend $60 on one battery. But yeah, so with how much I film nowadays, I think that will, or film and take photos and whatnot, I think that will be pretty darn good, because usually these batteries last about 2.5 hours of being on. But yeah, this one has some oomph. This one, of course, has like a little lever. It kind of pops up, but this one, like, that thing like shoves your finger out of the way. That thing pops out. But yeah, this battery, as you can see, quite a bit beefier. But yeah. And as you can see, you do gotta push to the side a little bit more to get it in, and then there. Yeah, that one's pretty powerful. But yeah, there's that, and then of course the little threads to put it on tripod or whatever. And then yeah, just lots of buttons, of course, and then the very fancy letter with EOS being embroidered, or not embroidered, embossed right there, and then Rebel T7i. And then this is the lens release button, so when the lens is on, you push that, and then you can twist it and take it off. That's the flash, so certain modes you can press that, and then the flash will pop up. And then that's like the little blinker for your timers and whatnot. The shutter button, whatever that black thingy is. And then, yeah, and then you got some more buttons around here. The two onboard mics are actually right there and right here. This one actually has two mics. This one technically does. It's right on the top. There's two little holes. It looks like one continuous mic, but maybe this is just one continuous mic going all the way through. But then on right here, of course, no slidey thingy for zooming on the shutter button for the first time. Yeah, and then you got the sliding thing, which this one also does. A lot of this stuff this camera also has. But yeah, that one. And I'm not going to go in full depth with these. I'm just kind of showing them because there's a lot of stuff on here. It's a DSLR. Yeah. This isn't a video to like show you how to use a DSLR, just showing you mine. Yeah, and then buttons, ISO buttons, display buttons, and then this one actually has a whole separate like video feature right here. So yeah, you have off, on for like everything else, and then a specific one for video, and then you can switch that to go to different ones. And then of course you got the hot shoe or cold shoe. I'm not sure if there's a difference, but I just always call it a hot shoe. But yeah, that is where you can actually slide on your external mics or whatever other accessories that can go right there. And then of course you got your two tabs to put your little rope or band or whatever you want to call it next strap. Which this camera, as you can see, actually has one on it. I've like always had this on it. It just says Canon, and then on the other side it says Powershot, and you can clip the lens cap to it. As you can see right here, this one is the classic Canon looking ones with the red, and you can see it says Canon, Canon again, and then EOS. But it's pretty darn cool. This one actually comes with this right here, which you can actually take off this whole piece right here, and then this actually goes over that like so. And that's actually a little eyepiece cover, but yeah, I don't think you usually have to use that unless if you're putting it not in a case or whatever. But I do have a case which I will show how I updated it later on since I got some more stuff in there. Yeah, that is actually rubber. I didn't know that. I thought it was just gonna be like plastic, but as you can see, it is a little squishy rubber just in case if you got some hard recoil or something. Yeah, and then this one is to go to like your live feed or whatever, instead of your settings or whatever you're on, and to start videos. It's kind of weird, you don't actually use the shutter button to start videos, you actually press this button. And then this is to focus the viewfinder there, and then all these buttons and whatnot, trash and that, and menu and info. And then of course the screen right here, you can see there's no screen right there, but that's because you can actually pull it out, and it's actually got this nice little clicking thing right there. Yeah, pretty darn nice. But yeah, you can actually pull that out, and as you can see, there we go. We got the camera, or I mean the screen right there. And yeah, you can flip that all the way around. So now when I'm filming, I can actually see myself. So now I don't have to go in weird positions and then kind of stand like that and whatnot. Make sure I'm all there. I can just look in the screen and see it from there. And that is going to be very, very nice. For positions like this. Yeah, and you can have it like that, and you can also have it like pointing straight down like that if you're like underneath or something, getting some funky shots. Lots of movement there. And of course you can also flip it around and just have it like a screen like a regular camera, or when you want to put it away just like that. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the most part. But then right here you got the speaker to play back videos. It's actually not that great, but they're not usually that great. It's just to watch back something if you need to. But I was surprised. I was just like, oof, the onboard audio doesn't sound that great. But then I played it on there and I was just like, oh, okay, it's just the onboard speakers that doesn't sound that great. Yeah, and then these are right here. They're actually hidden a lot more than on most other cameras I've seen. But yeah, this is your HDMI and your whatever input. I can't remember what that one's called. But I'm surprised they're still using that. But it's good because I still like connecting a wire, and of course I'm a big physical media guy, so I still like connecting a wire and uploading or exporting, transferring my files that way. And I still have this wire from God knows what year. This is probably almost a decade old or so. But yeah, it has that. I can't even remember what it's called anymore. But yeah, I still use that. I've been using it for this one for how many years? And I guess I can continue to use it with this one if I want. But then you got the HDMI, which those are the only two plugs this camera has right here, is those two. And that's it. So that's why you can't connect external mic or anything. But yeah, that's that. But then also you got this, which you can connect a remote, which I don't have like any wired remotes or anything like that. But then the 3.5mm jack, where you can connect your external mics. One of the biggest parts of this. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. You got a pretty deep handle, as with most DSLRs. This one even has a pretty darn deep handle there. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the overall camera there. So now I think we can go back and sit down finally. Yeah, so then of course the camera does come with a lens, because it cannot be used without a lens. So they are nice enough to include one, which is actually a pretty darn nice one. It's heavier than I thought, but yeah, it's right there. Is a 0.25 m to 0.8 feet, or 1855mm lens. And as you can see, it has 18 to 55 millimeters, and you can see it goes like that. But yeah, so that is actually how you zoom, is you just twist that thing and it goes in and out. So yeah, and then also you got the focusing ring. This thing it doesn't really do anything unless if you're on unless if you're on manual focus, which you can see. I guess I do gotta get up again. You can see right there you got autofocus right there, which most people use, I'd say, and I use too. But if you have it on manual focus, if you need to get a more precise focused item or whatever, you can turn on that and focus yourself using this little ring here. But yeah, I just usually keep it on that. And then you got stabilizer on and off, which again, like most people, I like to keep it on. I'm not sure many reasons why you would need to turn it off. It doesn't make like a huge difference, and you might as well just have it on if you do video at all. But yeah, and then it comes with a cover on both sides, a really nice Canon lens cover. I really like this one. It's got like the silver embossed thing right there, and yeah, you literally just squeeze those two things right there and put it on there, and then there is the actual lens, as you can see right there. But yeah, so that one's really nice actually, because literally all you have to do is just squeeze it, put it on, make sure it's like flush, and then there you go, it's on. But this one that I have on here is like that, and it's just a little more wiggly or whatever, and you kind of clamp it on the same way, but then you kind of gotta like press around it and make sure it's all clicked on and whatnot. No big deal, but just a slight inconvenience. But yeah, so that is that. And then on the other side, of course, you have the other lens cover right there, which you just kind of twist like you're opening a thermos or something. And yeah, that's that. So that is like the contact lens of the lens. So yeah, this is where you don't want to keep your fingers and dust and whatnot out, because I really not want to touch all that stuff and have to clean all that. And then the camera itself, of course, you just do like the kind of the same thing and twist that off, and then there is the lens right there. And I don't like to mess around with it too much, but as you can see, there is actually like a mirror system in there, and yeah, pretty serious stuff compared to my previous cameras, but you can see that is the shutter door right there. I just don't like to mess around with that too much. Yeah, you can see the actual connections, they're kind of brass colored right there, and then brass colored right there. And yeah, it's pretty darn satisfying when you put it on. As you can see, there is a little white square right there, and a white square right there, so you just want to match up both those white squares just like that, and then you just twist until it like slows to a nice little click. And yeah, you can just hear that. Very, very nice. And there we go. The lens is on, just like that. So yeah, it's definitely pretty darn heavy. My mom and dad said it was light, but just compared to all my other cameras I've had, this thing is heavy. Definitely my most heavy camera I've ever had. But just so if you're a bigger, if you've been around a lot more cameras, it's probably not heavy to you. But just compared to every other camera I've used, it's definitely a lot heavier. But yeah, so that is that. It pretty much looks like my Powershot, but just has a lot more stuff all over it and going on, but just looks a lot more professional and cool looking. Yeah, that is the assembled camera. And a really cool thing, which I didn't even know, but my dad showed me, is the lenses, so you can keep the dust out of both of them, is you can actually put them together and connect them and twist them like so. So then you can just keep them wherever and not get dust in either of them. Because then once it's connected, if you just keep the lens on there, all you have to worry about is that lens cover right there. Yeah, that is that. But yeah, so now turning it on, this one doesn't have as many sounds as all my other cameras either. It doesn't have a little jingle or whatever when it turns on. But yeah, you can see the little screen right there. Yeah, you can see you click that and it goes to live view, which I have my lens cover on right there. And there we go. So yeah, you can focus. That's what autofocus is, but of course if I have that off, then I can use the ring and focus myself. I'm not sure how well you guys can really see that, but as you can see, I'm turning the ring on the front myself and it's getting a lot more blurry and a lot more clear. Blurry and clear. So yeah, so I just keep autofocus on. Not sure why I would really want it off, but yeah, it just looks so good. I was just so happy with the audio, and the even the onboard audio is really good. Like honestly, the onboard audio compared to the Sennheiser mic, like isn't that much worse. Like they're pretty much just as good. So yeah, I don't even know if I really needed an external mic, but it'll be really nice for outside filming. But yeah, probably still going to use the mic most of the time, just because higher quality mic, and I am a Sennheiser fanboy. Yeah, and when you take pictures, of course it actually has like a shutter with like mirrors that move and whatnot. It's not just like a digital camera, so it's got a loud shutter. You can really hear when it takes a picture. As you can see, when you go here, when I take a picture, you can hear this. Yeah, so it pretty sounds like it's slamming down mirrors in there, but yeah, I took a neat little picture of the setup there. Yeah, so that is that. And I think that's pretty much all I had to show for the camera for the most part. I don't even know how I just took a picture right there. Yeah, I must have been the touchscreen, because believe it or not, this is actually touchscreen. I had no idea until I actually got it, because I touched the screen and I was just like, oh, it did something. But yeah, so it is actually touchscreen, and it's not bad touchscreen at all. It's actually really good. It kind of just feels like a smartphone. But yeah, you can see it is actually a touchscreen right there. So yeah, that's pretty darn neat. But yeah, and then also like on the ISO and whatnot, if we go to like something like medium or medium manual, we go like that, you can actually slide manually with your finger, which is pretty darn neat. So yeah, that is pretty much it for the camera showcase, I guess, and now we can get on. So basically that's pretty much it for everything there that I really wanted to show. And when you turn it off, it actually kind of makes some sounds and says sensor cleaning or clearing or whatever. I'm not sure exactly what that's all about, but yeah, I guess just making sure it's staying in pristine condition. Yeah, so then I'll just show this real quick, but after this we're going to do some tests, of course, testing this against this camera, both footage and picture wise. Just I'm gonna film some random photos, or film some random video clips that are very similar to each other, as well as take pictures that are almost identical to each other, just on both different cameras, and compare them, because I thought that this one took some mean pictures, but just wait until you see this one. It's basically the same, but way more defined and whatnot. But yeah, so this is just a start, of course. Just subscribe and follow stuff down in the description if you want to keep on seeing more from this. But yeah, but this stay around for those tests. We're also going to test the mic on my phone and whatnot, because the mic, it can actually be used on mobile devices and my camera. But this is the little mic, very small. I know it's not a shotgun mic, it's a condenser super cardioid mic. Yeah, you can see right there is the little adapter thing that goes onto the hot shoe or whatever, which of course just kind of slides in there, and then you screw that down to kind of clamp it on. But yeah, and then right there you actually have the plug-in for the 3.5mm jack, and it actually has threads, so you can actually like screw it in too, which is cool. You don't see that too often. And then yeah, that's the mic all the way around, which usually shotgun mics would be good, but shotgun mics are more for filming audio like in front of you, which if you guys know, I'm usually filming all over the place, which that's why I would want a cardioid mic, so I can film all over the place. Because if I'm like filming a skit or whatever and I'm running around, then I might want it to film behind the camera too, not just in front of it. But yeah, you guys know I'm an absolute fanboy of Sennheiser. Basically anything silver and black. That's from Germany, I guess, because my favorite car has always been the silver and black Audi R8, 2012 Audi R8 V8. And then I love Sennheiser, and all my Sennheiser stuff is silver and black, and that's kind of their theme. But yeah, you guys know my headphones here are the Sennheiser HD 599 SE Amazon exclusives right there. And then I recently got these, which I haven't even showed yet, but these are my new earbuds, probably my new favorite audio device I have, which is funny because I say they like combine all the best parts of my Bose Companion 2 Series 3 speakers and my Sennheiser headphones, and it's funny because these cost exactly as much as both of them combined, because the speakers were 100 and the headphones were 200. So yeah, so you do some quick math and you see how much these were. But yeah, you guys know I'm not a fan of wireless stuff or anything. I'm a physical media dude, and I like wired stuff, wired peripherals. But I finally got myself some wired earbuds. But yeah, I do have some really good wired earbuds. They're somewhat old, but they still sound amazing. They're by JBL, and they're called like Earbuds Venture Series. Again, on the website if you want to see them. They're waterproof, Kevlar cords and whatnot. But these ones are also waterproof. These ones are IPX4. My JBL ones are actually IPX5. But yeah, they come with this very nice case. It's actually like soft woven and whatnot with the embossed Sennheiser logo. And then right here it actually has the charger for the USB Type-C. And then you can press that to check the battery life, which it's orange, because I think the case is dying. I need to charge the case soon. But you can see it opens like this. It's actually like a magnetized case, kind of like a glasses case. But yeah, you can see it says Sennheiser right there, and then right there you can take out both of them, and of course it's just like most of them, and they're just magnetic. But yeah, they look like that, kind of bigger, but I think they're pretty darn comfortable and really nice, and they pair very nicely. I'm not gonna go, I just kicked the tripod. I'm not gonna go too in depth about them, because that's not really what this video is about. But yeah, if you want to get more information on them or whatever, again, my website or my Instagram, I made a big old post about them. So this is the Sennheiser mic. It is the Sennheiser MKE 200, as you can see right there. Sennheiser logo on both sides, and then right there. And I doubt you can see it, but in the holes it has this weird like wired, it almost looks like micro snares, like from a snare drum. But yeah, I don't know if that's some sort of built-in pop filter. It doesn't, as you'll hear later on, it doesn't have much of a pop filter unless if you put the windsock or windscreen on it. Yeah, but it actually has a built-in shock mount. You might be saying there's no shock mount, but the mic's actually like in the center, and there's actually like two things. There's a little picture of like the inside of it on the Amazon page for it, and Sennheiser.com. But yeah, and also me and Sennheiser, I say like one person, but yeah, they've contacted me a few times on Twitter and whatnot, liked a few of my tweets, and complimented them, and they're just like, nailed it. But yeah, so they interact with me quite a bit on Twitter, which is pretty awesome. But yeah, really have been loving Sennheiser. Now I have 3 products by them. Again, simply slides on just like so. See if I'm getting this right here. But yeah, you just slide it in there very nicely, and then you just got to turn this, and it just kind of slowly goes down and clamps down on top there. And it is a pretty tall and stubby mic, so it does look kind of funky, but you know, it's a mic, and it's a pretty darn good mic. And it's, believe it or not, this mic is actually pretty darn cheap. You might be thinking, oh, Sennheiser, super premium audio brand, that mic is probably like $500. But no, this is actually one of the cheaper brands by them, but still really, really good. This one is only $100, or actually $99. So yeah, that's actually pretty darn good, because they also, some like Rode and Shure shotgun mics can get up in the thousands of dollars. So this is actually a pretty good, like external starter mic. But yeah, and then it actually comes with these two cords I was talking about right here. If they sound weird like that, it's because they have the threaded screw-on things right there. But it actually comes with two. I'm not sure why. As you can see, one of the connectors has 3 black lines and one of them has 2. But yeah, this one, as you can see, it is labeled. This one is for smartphones. But yeah, and then this one is for everything else. So a lot of people would say it is kind of funky colors, which it kind of is. It doesn't match like the black and silver that camera stuff usually is. But I don't really mind, because I love cyan. That's like my exact favorite color right there, and cyan and black is like my favorite, so I don't really care. But yeah, how you actually connect this is, you can see right here, you plug it in like a regular 3.5 jack until it connects right there, and then you can actually go ahead and screw on that little, can actually screw on the little thing until it's tight. Not too tight, because there's no point making it too tight. And then I kind of just put it down like that, and then of course you open up this little puppy right here, and then just plug it in right there. This door kind of gets in the way sometimes, but yeah, just like that. And yeah, you can't usually use the flash, but chances are if you have this mic connected, you're probably filming anyway, so you probably don't need the flash. But yeah, and it kind of like sits kind of like a lightning bolt across there. But yeah, that is that all fully connected, and now you will record audio through the mic. So that is kind of the full setup. Of course, most of the time I will probably be filming with the windsock, which you will see later on in the video. But for now, it's just like this. So yeah, so now we're just going to switch. I'm just going to show these last 2 things, and then we'll get on with the rest of the video. So yeah, so the other 2 things I ordered with the stuff is just because the whole time ever since I got my phone, the Galaxy A10e, when my family switched to T-Mobile, and we got the back this past November 2019. We switched to T-Mobile finally, after being with Verizon for however many years, and yeah, we got this little deal where we all got like Galaxy A10es, which is a pretty decent little smartphone for being a pretty cheap one. But yeah, just pretty good deal. But of course, they came with the charger. This thing I believe is 2 feet long, and yeah, and my birthday present, of course, my birthday was on October 23rd, so I didn't really need much or anything, or want anything, but my mom and dad just surprised me with a power strip, which is actually kind of nice, because I didn't really know if I needed or wanted anything, but once they showed me that they got me a power strip, I was just like, oh, okay, I was actually, could use that, and it's pretty darn nice, but yeah, it's, but I mounted it on the wall right here. It's got a nice, really thick, braided cord, and yeah, and my dad and I, a couple days after, actually replaced both the outlets right here and beside my bed, just because they haven't been replaced in forever. And this one was actually cracked, which that could be dangerous because it could spew out electricity and start a fire or something. So yeah, my dad and I, of course, my dad's really trained and knows a lot of all of that stuff, like water, fuel maintenance, and electricity, and carpentry, and whatnot, from his time in the military and whatever else he's done throughout his life. But yeah, so we replaced those, and they not only look a lot nicer, but they're also a lot safer, because they were like brown, and then somebody just like painted them white. So then after plugging them in, plugging stuff in and out forever, kind of scratched off half the paint, and so they were all just like, it kind of looked like camouflage. But now they are just white, and they're base white, so now they can't just get scratched up. But I finally got an upgraded cord here. I couldn't find just a single pack, so I just bought a double pack. They were $8, so I thought they were still going to be a little more expensive. But this is like the, as far as I know of, like the top of the line you can get for a USB Type-C cord. I absolutely love USB Type-C. But yeah, this is like the fastest you can get, and the and just like the best you can get. And this is 6 foot. So I just thought I'd show this. Yeah, so that is that. It has nice metal. All that is metal, and all that is metal on the USB Type-C, and that's just black, and this is just black, and it says Anchor right there. That's the brand. And yeah, it actually came with these nice little Velcro straps that actually have Anchor on them right there. Yeah, but that is the cord. As you can see, it is like nice gunmetal gray. It is braided, and it is 6 feet long. So if I take that out here, once I take this Velcro off, you can see, can't even like fit it all on screen. It's right there and all that. So definitely long. But yeah, because the power strip's mounted on the wall, so it's about a foot further over from my my regular plug-in outlet, where I would usually plug in my stuff to charge stuff. So now the 2 feet cord was like just getting to the corner of my bed, but now I will be perfectly fine. That should be able to charge it all the way up to my pillow at the top of my bed. But yeah, the other one, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it, because I don't need to for anything, I don't think. So I just left it upstairs and said my dad could have it if he wanted. But yeah, and also I absolutely love it with my phone. Again, you guys know I absolutely love carbon fiber. But yeah, my phone, of course, once my Galaxy colored themed pop socket kind of just popped off, I got a new, not plastic one, but aluminum one. This time just nice matte black, and I also bought one for my dad. But yeah, you guys know my case, nice carbon fiber around there and brushed metal. It's not actually metal, but the brushed metal look. Both my favorite materials, the carbon fiber and brushed metal. But now, to go along with that, I got matte black, like black brush metal, carbon fiber, and now, that's not the right cord. Now I got some like braided nylon, or braided Kevlar gunmetal gray cord with some more black. So just all that looks so nice together. I absolutely love how all that looks. The last thing I believe I have to show is for the mic here. As you can see, it actually came with a nice little Sennheiser pouch. It's very weird feeling with the windsock in there. It's like super like soft, silky material, and then cushy. It feels like some weird soft creature. But yeah, you can open that up. It's just like a little drawstring pouch, as you can see there. And then I currently just keep the windsock in there. So it did come with a little windsock, which of course you just like stick that over the top of the mic. And it's got the little Sennheiser tag, and yeah, just nice fluffy black windsock there. Yeah, you'll see that later on in the video. But I believe that's pretty much everything I had to show and talk about. So now we're going to do all the tests that I was talking about. And yeah. But the other thing is, of course, it came with some nice instruction booklets, the Sennheiser thing, and the basic instruction manual. Nice thick boy right there. Of course, it has 3 languages in it. English goes all the way to right there. But yeah, still a really thick booklet. That's one of probably the thickest booklet I've ever gotten for out of all the electronics I've gotten, which is insane. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for that. So make sure to stay tuned for all the testing and whatnot of the video. Alright guys, so we're back on the Powershot here. So yeah, so now I'm going to do some tests on the mic on my video rig that I use in a lot of my movies, and skits and whatnot since I got it. Just gives me more grips and whatnot for easier shooting for stuff like that. But I've never actually got to use the mic. As you can see, this top thing is actually a mic built in right there. But I've never got to use it because my Powershot, again, cannot connect to any mics like that. But yeah, so as you can see, I can actually connect it to that for once. So yeah, so we're going to see how that sounds. Not expecting it to sound amazing, but yeah, I just figured we'll use the lamp again, or lighter, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, so we're just gonna test that out. I've never got to test it out, and I think it's about time that we finally do. So yeah, let's go ahead and give that a try. Alright, it is now on. And this one again does come with windsock. I don't have it on, but it probably won't matter since I'm inside and I'm nowhere near the mic. But yeah, so if the lighting's really funky, I just decided I have my light attached to it right now. Why not use it? It's very blinding, but I just figured I'd use it. I don't use it too often, but why not? I use that. But yeah, I doubt it's that great because I believe the whole bundle was like $100-something, but the Sennheiser mic alone was $100. But yeah, I guess we will just have to see. Alright, so now for the audio on my regular camera. So this is the Canon EOS Rebel T7i, the camera of the main star of this video. So yeah, so this is the just onboard audio. I'm just holding the camera as is. The mic is not even mounted, as you can see, it is right here. But yeah, so this is the onboard audio. And if you guys, if I haven't mentioned it yet, this camera that I've been using for like the past 3 years, I've never been using a mic because it is, of course, a bridge camera, and there's absolutely no way you can connect an external mic. So I've been using onboard audio for the past like 3 or so years. So this is like the big transition onto actually using a mic, other than like when I'm on my PC or whatever, because of course I have that mic and stuff. But yeah, so this is the onboard audio. Now onto the mic, which we'll pretty much be using whenever we are filming with this camera. And here we are with the mic mounted. Now this is the mic just as is without this windsock, which we'll probably be using most of the time, just because when I'm filming like this it'll probably be fine, but whenever we're filming outside or anything, you guys know I've had to scrap whole scenes of movies or whatever, or just add music over it, because when slight wind hits that thing, goodbye all audio, because all you hear is so yeah, so we're gonna do a little test here with the windsock. So like most of my videos it'll be fine without, but I'm probably just gonna keep it on for the most part, because whenever I'm filming outside, windsocks are very nice, pretty much cuts out all that, so you can just film regular, of course, if you don't have a lavalier mic or whatever, of course. So I'm going to do a little test. I'm going to kind of blow on the mic and see how it is without, and then we'll see with. So this is without the windsock. Alright, and so yes, that's the audio with the regular mic and without the windsock. Now here is the regular, or now here's the part with the windsock. Alright, and this is with the mic with the windsock, just for the audio test for everything, with and without the windsock, using the mic on my phone, and with and without the mic sock on the camera. But yeah, so this is how it sounds in the little blow air test. So yeah, so I'm not sure how well that sounded, because I'm not listening to it right now, but yeah, I will see once I'm editing it and whatnot, but I imagine quite a bit better. So yeah, that is that. Alrighty boyos, this is as you can probably tell by the quality, I'm now filming through my phone, but I am using the Sennheiser mic just to show off the audio, because since you can use it with mobile devices with the included mobile cord. So as you can see, the little fluffy windscreen is on. So yeah, I am holding it because I don't have a mount or anything to mount it to my phone. But yeah, so this is how it sounds with it, and now on to my regular phone's audio. Yeah, so now this is the regular phone audio without the Sennheiser mic. As you can see, it is no longer plugged in. So yeah, that is the difference in the audio if you choose to use it with a phone or whatever. Only thing is you either gotta hold it or have a mount, which I don't know many people that have like a mount for their phone or something.